Victory Studios in downtown Little Rock. This is Capitol View.
Welcome to Capitol View. I'm your host, Roby Brock. Thank you for joining us. Hope your holiday weekend is going well. Joining me now to fire some conventional wisdom arrows up and down, John Brummett, columnist with the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette.
Did you notice I pumped that handshake?
That was really good.
I got some criticism from viewers that I was giving you the no pump handshake. And I'd correct
What does
errors.
that mean? So
They didn't think I really liked you.
Really?
And I wasn't vigorous enough.
Well,
manly
I feel like we're pretty good friends.
Well,
you know?
well.
You got a little big brother quality for me, so yeah, I don't feel like it's a father-son relationship.
I'm an avuncular type of person. Sort of like your creepy uncle.
Okay.
Let's get to the arrows.
Let's get to these arrows.
Yeah.
All right. I kind of want to stay in the federal lanes, different branches of government.
That's where
we're going to start with it is the judicial branch. The U.S. Supreme Court rules on a multitude of cases, one in particular involving nationwide injunctions. They didn't rule on the 14th Amendment, but it was a case that centered around that. Arrow up or arrow down for the U.S. Supreme Court?
On this ruling or on its general performance of late?
I'm going general performance of late.
Either way, it's an arrow up. And I know that's counterintuitive because all the liberals, they think the Supreme Court is horrible and they're just enabling Donald Trump. I think under the leadership of John Roberts and with the independence of Amy Barrett, they've done a pretty good job of ruling on the law, but not in an aggressive way that forces a moment of truth on whether this guy will abide by rulings or force a constitutional crisis. And I just don't have any, as long as they don't yield entirely, as long as Roberts, I think, is trying to fashion an agenda of rulings that keep us functioning without forcing that issue, which is a concession to Trump, but then I'm happy with that. This nationwide injunction, Roby, that works both ways.
Yeah.
Obama didn't like having a single Texas federal judge declare much of Obamacare illegal. Joe Biden's administration's Justice Department complained formally 6 times against nationwide injunctions. It said, we can have 20 cases out here, we can win 19 of them, one federal judge can rule against us, and he overrules the 19 in the other states. It's not good policy, in my opinion, and I know there are contrary views, but I don't think, I think that's a sensible ruling, a defensible ruling, not a radical ruling. Now, still left is whether a president by executive order can void birthright citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants. They're going to take their time on that like a case. I think Barrett and Roberts are going to switch to the other side on that, but we'll see.
Wow.
But
a prediction there. I'm going to. You're on camera now with that, so.
Well, sure. I mean, I don't mind being on. You know, I've made predictions for 6 decades, and I have missed most of them. So I'm used to it. But that's the way I see that. My fight is not with the Supreme Court. So far they're on a balance beam and they're still standing.
All right, let's talk about the legislative branch. The Senate bends to Trump's will with Alaska's U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski kind of folding in the end, but for the benefit of her state. The House appears to be willing to bend again to Trump, despite objections.
In our taping, it appears that they're going to get that done.
So they're going to pass this bill that we know is going to explode the federal debt by $4 trillion, maybe more, but maybe we don't know all the ramifications of everything else in it, but yet Trump gets another victory here. But on the legislative branch, on Congress, arrow up, arrow down. Arrow down.
Down. I mean, it's just the thumb, it's not an arrow, but it's the same thing.
Yes.
And you've got graphics to replace my thumb. So it's dysfunctional. And it's become more, Congress, the legislative branch, is dysfunctional. It's become more dysfunctional in recent times, more dysfunctional than ever under Trump as the Republicans control the place, and Republicans who, in Murkowski's case, agree they don't even agree with the bill. They vote for it anyway under this pressure, this force that Trump holds, this power that he holds over the Republican Party, and they even want to do it by his deadline. So she says she votes the 50th vote, and then she tells the press, "I hope the House doesn't pass it."
Which they're not. Which they're going to pass it. So,
I hope the House changes it so it comes back so we can work on it some more. But I had to get it done, and she got some favors for Alaska. The fishing people on the western coast of Alaska are going to get some favors that no other fishermen in the country get, and then Alaska's exempt from some of the child or the food stamp cuts because they're a non-contiguous state. Hawaii's sitting down there going, where'd this come from? Why do we get this advantage? Well, Lisa Murkowski got it for Alaska, and they defined it as non-contiguous states. It's ugly. It's the sausage making, but the sausage is getting uglier, and the making is getting sloppier.
I think you wrote you'd rather watch sausage actually
I'd
being
still
made
rather
on
watch
YouTube.
it. I'd rather watch a homemade video on sausage making than watch CNN or MSNBC or Fox cover our political process. And they're abdicating their responsibility. Republicans said when Obamacare was passed by only Democratic votes in a narrow majority that it was an outrage and a tragedy for the country that such a thing would be done without any effort at bipartisan support. There are no Democrats for this, and they're running up the deficit $4 trillion and they're effectively removing people from Medicaid and endangering health care in the rural parts of the country, which are overwhelmingly red. I get worked up about this. Congress has a responsibility to do an independent job as a separate branch of government, and they're not doing it, and it makes me ill. So it's an arrow down, in case you didn't get that.
I got that.
Okay.
So, all right. The executive branch, President Donald Trump gets his way with the Supreme Court, getting his way with Congress. You've got to give him an arrow up.
Yes. I mean, it's the hardest arrow to fire because he's personally, I hope I don't get in trouble with your viewers. They know it's me. He's personally a kind of a disgrace. But I think a lot of people know that. But the results? Has the economy collapsed with rampant inflation and great joblessness over his tariffs? No. Where's the stock market? Have you checked it lately? You checked your retirement?
All-time high.
The bombing?
After bombing for a while.
The military action, he survived it, we survived it. And now, get this. Donald Trump now owns CBS News. He's the boss. He's the editor over there. He just got a $16 million settlement from Paramount, the owner of CBS, because 60 Minutes edited a Kamala Harris interview between a morning show and an evening show in a way he thought was unfavorable to him. And Paramount wants to sell to a Trump supporter, by the way, and they need regulatory approval. And in light of that, they just conceded to his lawsuit. So, I mean, Roy, if you get very prominent down here, the president may sue you to take control of your program.
Capital View
and I bet I won't be on here.
Politics.
I bet I won't be on here. He's arrow up. Nation's media is arrow subterranean, but Trump is arrow up, and that's what we've got.
It's the John Brummett comedy show this morning.
Well,
it's good.
Okay.
All right.
Anything we can do for the viewers?
John Brummett's
You wanna do
columnist
another
with the
handshake?
Arkansas Democrat
All right,
Gazette. That's
all
a
right.
good firm shake
All
there.
right.
Thank you so
You
much.
take care.